tack, tick tack, tick tack. Feyenoord, Feyenoord. Guess who's back? Your biggest nightmare is back. How are we doing? Yeah, Roma Feyenoord in the playoffs of the Europa League. Were we certain about this? Absolutely. Was it scripted? Absolutely. This has now become the biggest certainty of the life of Roma fans, even more than death and taxes. It's Roma facing Feyenoord. It's insane. I actually question myself how this is possible. I feel like this is rigged. It has to be rigged. Otherwise, there is no explanation as to why, once again, we're here to face Feyenoord. It makes no sense to me, but yeah, Roma Feyenoord is the playoff of the Europa League. The more I look at this, and the more I'm like, we are so stupid. We are so stupid. How did we not get first in that group? The more I look at this, and the more I look at the complexity of this game in February, who will be back? Will Dybala be there? Looking or away form and all of that, the more I realize how stupid this team has been in such an easy group stage not to exploit that situation and not to qualify first. And I'm pretty sure everybody here, after seeing Feyenoord today, will agree on this. Because yes, okay, we beat them once, we beat them twice, and we can beat them a third time, but they were they were actually one of the better teams that we should have avoided. And yeah, it's an obstacle, and it would be a lie not to say it's an obstacle. They are coming from the Champions League. They are a good side. As much as we hate them, and as much as there is a rivalry between us and them, they're a good side. They know how to play football. You know, something would have been playing against, I don't know, young boys from Switzerland. Again, all respect to them. But now it's a different thing playing against Feyenoord, and that is the problem. We have decided to take this risky path. There you go. This is the karma that hits back, and it's fair. It's absolutely fair. Yeah, in terms of favorites, long story short, let's narrow it down. In terms of favorites, I genuinely think this is a 50-50 game. This is a 50-50 game in my opinion because I don't know. It's become a derby. It's become a game that no team wants to lose. Because it's become such a big rival game that both fan bases hate each other. You know, Roma fans can't go to Rotterdam and Feyenoord fans can't come to Rome. That it's just like nobody wants to lose this game. It's such a heated game in both ends, because in their home ground it's a heated stadium and in our home ground it's a heated stadium. I don't know. I've said this last week. I did not want to play against Feyenoord, and I will continue to say this. I wanted to avoid them. I wanted to avoid them not because they were one of the most complicated sides, but I wanted to avoid them also because, come on, this is boring. I want something new. I would have rather faced Benfica. I ain't gonna lie. I would have rather faced Benfica or Galatasaray rather than Feyenoord. Just because it's so repetitive that it's so depressing to watch. You know, it's always the same. It's always the same again and again and again. Yeah, this is a game, 100%, this is a game that will be decided in the home grounds of the respective teams. Why do I say this? I say this because, in my opinion, Feyenoord are going to win at home and Roma are going to win at home. And obviously, if you narrow it down after saying this, it really does depend on who is more brave enough to try and win in each other's respective house. That, in my opinion, is the equation to this fixture. It's whoever is braver enough to attack, try and score, and try and win away from home. Because I don't see Roma winning in Rotterdam, and I don't see Feyenoord winning in Rome. So it really comes down to individual mistakes, teams exploiting these individual mistakes, concentration, focus, something which we are terrible at. It does come down to this, um, because it's one of those games where the atmospheres in both grounds are is gonna be big, and it's going to be exacerbated by the fact that we hate each other. And obviously, the fact that away fans can't travel does mean that, it's harder for away teams to win in away from home in their respective grounds. I think I think when it comes to Feyenoord, it's all about Santiago Jimenez and Stengs. I really do. I think it's and look, Feyenoord would say the same thing. If was a Feyenoord fan channel, I would say Roma is Dybala and Lukaku, and Feyenoord is Santiago Jimenez and Stengs. Last season, it would have been Santiago Jimenez and Kokchu. Now Kokchu is a Benfica player. This season, it's Santiago Jimenez, who is a great striker, even though I hate him. He's a great, great striker. I think a big move is coming for Santi Jimenez. And Stengs, new player. They bought him permanently. He's a winger. He's good on set pieces. He's fast. He can dribble. Yeah, look. In terms of do I think Feyenoord improved or didn't improve? I think they pretty bad. I think they balanced out. I think they lost one of their biggest players, Kokchu. But they got Stengs, which adds more threat to the attack. In terms of us, they will say the same thing. We lost Matic, but we got Lukaku. It's a very 50-50 game, this is. It really, really is. It's a 50-50 game. I just couldn't tell who wins. Obviously, the only reason I'm scared for this fixture is because somewhere in the near future, if this infinity loop continues, Feyenoord are going to win a game. So I'm just scared that this infinity loop continues and Feyenoord beat us. Because again, we beat them once in a final and we lifted that trophy in front of their eyes. We beat them 2 times with a comeback. I expect a reaction from Feyenoord. I expect them playing this game as they've never played such a game. And that's exactly why I wanted to avoid Feyenoord, because playing teams 3 times round is never good. It's never good because they always react to their previous games, overturn their mistakes, and just their mentality changes. And Feyenoord have nothing to lose because they lost twice. That it's the pressure is on Roma. I mean, you could argue the pressure is also on Feyenoord because if we beat them a 3rd time, it's embarrassing for them. But the pressure is mixed. I don't know. It's a complicated one to predict. I really think it is complicated to predict. You can't really predict this game. So yeah, the thing which obviously there's conflict between the managers too. The bold goblin, we're back, you bold fucking goblin. Ooh, we're back. It's about experience against emergence. It's about Jose and his rival Arne Slot. If we remember well, after we beat them 4-2, 4-1 last season in the quarterfinals of the Europa League, Mourinho, on the way back to the changing rooms, he was walking side by side with the bold guy, and he went because basically, if we remember well, Arne Slot in the press conference said, I don't like watching Roma. Roma play terrible tactics. I'd rather watch Napoli. And Mourinho, after we beat them 4-1 and we eliminated them from the Europa League, back in the changing room, there's this scene of them two walking side by side and Mourinho going, respect. Go and watch fucking Napoli. Go and watch fucking Napoli. Go watch Napoli. Go. You go watch Napoli. Yeah. But I also feel like to wake this team up, we needed such a fixture. So part of me doesn't want to face Feyenoord, but the other part is really like this game is going to be the game that will potentially wake up these players. You know, it's a heated game. It's an all or nothing game because it's a playoff, so we're either in or we're either out. It's like a quarterfinal. It's a massive game that maybe we realize our mistakes in the group stage and it comes down to this one and we absolutely outclass them. Yeah, look, how do we feel? How do we feel? Because I haven't heard many Roma fans speak. Have we been, I don't know, have we been knocked by this headache once again? Because I haven't heard many reactions from Roma fans. How do Roma fans feel about this? Are we happy or are we sad? Are we ready for this? Or are we anxious and nervous that Feyenoord are going to come in for a third time and beat us this time round? How do we feel? Let me know in the chat. Two things are interested in life, death and Roma versus Feyenoord. The Euro Derby is back, says Himadri. I have a feeling Roma won't go far in Europe this season. I'd rather they concentrate on Serie A instead. The problem is, I can agree on that. But there is a very big problem on that. The problem is, if we now discard Europa League and decide to go all in the league, you need to win big games. You need to win big games. Because when you've got 4 weeks to prepare for Serie A games and league games, and then every time we play a big team or in a big game, like Bologna last weekend, we don't play and we lose, then no, I'd rather we don't concentrate on the league. Because let's face it, if we don't start winning big games, we're not going to get top 4. Like, to the extent that it is more likely for us to win Europa League than get top 4. It really is. So, yes, we need Champions League football. Absolutely, we need Champions League football. But if we decide to leave Europe and then we don't get Champions League football, then the season becomes 10 times more. It becomes 10 times more depressing, and it becomes an utter failure. Because last season we didn't get Champions League football, but we were about to do it, so it does sacrifice that. This season, if we get thrown out in the playoffs and don't get top 4, it's an utter failure. It really is. So it's it's a mixed one. A long story short, to cut this down, did I want to face Feyenoord? Absolutely not. Do I think we'll beat them? It's too early to say. It's extremely early to say. What I can say is, if we will have Dybala and Lukaku on top form, and maybe even Tammy back playing, we maybe could be the favourites. But it does not take much time for this statement to be overtwined and changed. Because we know how fragile Dybala is. And if Dybala is out for this game, bye-bye. It's like this. Roma's season is like this. Is Dybala going to play? Maybe we have a chance. Is he not going to play? We don't have a chance. So it really does depend on what team will we have in February. At this point, it's the Bayern versus Barca or PSG of the UEL, says Himadri. But again, the one last thing which I want to say, I don't want to be that guy, but this is rigged. Like, it cannot be right that we got Feyenoord again. Like, don't get me wrong, I hate maths, I hate statistics, I hate probability. There is a probability chance that we faced them. But nothing will change my version of this being rigged. It's so rigged. Like, it can't be right. Everybody this morning, before the UEL draw started, was going, Roma Feyenoord again, Roma Feyenoord again, Roma Feyenoord again. Oh my god, it could be Roma Feyenoord again. Roma fans on Instagram mocking Feyenoord fans. UEL draw starts. First pick it's Feyenoord, second pick it's Roma. Like, it's rigged. It is absolutely rigged, and nothing will ever change this opinion from me. What are the chances? Everybody speaks about, oh, Feyenoord is so gonna happen. oh my god, it's so gonna happen, it's scripted, it's rigged, The UEL draw starts, the first pick is Feyenoord and the second pick is Roma. They go together and it's the fixture. Like, come on, it's depressing. UEFA Mafia at its best. It can't be right. It just cannot be right. But we don't complain. What we do is we show the facts. Hi, Feyenoord. We're back again. I've nothing else to say. I really don't. Problem is, PSV is 100% after 16 rounds. Feyenoord will easily focus on UEL, whilst we have to focus on the league. That's another good point. PSV were leading the Eredivisie by 10 points. Last season, Feyenoord was winning the league, and they won the league. So their focus this season is definitely the Europa League. Anyways, look, we've got a long way to go. We've got a long way to go onto February. We've got this insane Tour de Force to complete, and hopefully by winning at least a big game. Otherwise, I don't know what happens. We'll definitely get to Feyenoord. But yeah, I just wanted to go live to have some initial nightmares for Feyenoord fans. Okay, you are our biggest headache. We've had enough of you. We don't want to play you anymore. We've lifted a trophy in front of you and we beat you and threw you out after a comeback. If you are experimenting with dark magic, please stop, because we do not want to face you again. But for us, you're a headache. For you, we are your biggest nightmare. Bye-bye, Goblin. What's his name? Arnie Slot. See you in February. Bye, Feyenoord fans. Talk to you soon. Smash a like, subscribe. Simon out.